I always stay up when the clocks go backwards. I love witnessing the addition of an extra hour to my weekend. It was 28th October, 1:59 a.m., a fine night for having an extra hour to myself. It was silent, except for the grandfather clock ticking away in the living room. I had Netflix on and a bottle of wine, so it was all set. Excited, I paused Breaking Bad to focus on the digital clock on my laptop. Within seconds, I saw it go back to 1 a.m. instead of moving forwards to 2 a.m. Humming to myself, I resumed Breaking Bad and continued my chilled night, a glorious extra hour. The episode ended. Feeling slightly tired, I closed Netflix and checked the time. It was 12:15 a.m. I blinked several times and rubbed my eyes. Looked again. 12:14 a.m. Okay, I thought, my mind is playing tricks on me. Or my computer is hacked. What an elaborate hacking. After I decided to have it checked the following week, I headed to the bathroom to brush my teeth before bed. It was nearly 2 a.m. Then, as I was applying night cream on my face, I heard it. The grandfather clock. Chimes. The chimes which sounded only at midnight. Dropping the cream tub, I ran to the living room as the chimes went on and on. The same chimes I had heard only a few hours ago. The hands on the grandfather clock showed 12 a.m. I rushed to my desk and grabbed my watch. A minute before 12 a.m. I stared at it blankly. What stupid joke was this? Clocks going backwards on their own? My eyes stopped on the nearly empty bottle of wine. I sighed and decided to just go to bed. Nothing good ever happens after a bottle of wine at 2 a.m. I woke up after what felt like 5 seconds. A dark shadow was hanging over my bed. I choked on sudden fear but couldn't move. The figure was so dark that the only reason I could see it was because it was darker than the darkness in my room. It spoke. 10th of November, 2017. It whispered with a hoarse voice, as if it had never uttered a word in its existence. Still frozen, I stared at it unbelievably. I thought I was about to die. A sudden chill had entered the room. 10th of November, 2017. It repeated, this time louder. Then it drew itself lower over my bed. I could feel its rancid breath crawl on my skin. My fight or flight response finally unlocked and I switched the bedside lamp on. The figure disappeared as suddenly as the room lit up. I breathed heavily for a few minutes, staring at the space in front of me, my heart tearing through my chest with fear. I couldn't sleep anymore that night. Refusing to look at any clocks or watches, I curled up on my bed and waited, terrified. The darkness of the flat was pressing on me, the possibility of what might be waiting for me out there. At last, the faint light of day was beginning to rise behind the curtains. I lifted my exhausted body and went to make a cup of coffee. I have to look eventually, I thought. I can't ignore the clocks forever. I glanced at the grandfather clock, 6 a.m. I wasn't crazy. It sure looked like 6 a.m. outside. Ecstatic, I brewed my coffee and started getting ready for work. I must have gotten drunk, I thought. Should definitely reduce the wine in the TV shows. Dark figures in the night, clocks going backwards? How ridiculous. Sipping on my coffee, half dressed, I sat in front of my laptop to check the usual. Facebook, emails, news. The first thing that popped on my newsfeed was the On This Day feature, revealing a silly picture of me and some friends, dressed as zombies and vampires. It was taken at a Halloween party exactly a year ago. I smiled as I looked at it. It was a nice memory, one of the few things I liked about Facebook. 1 year ago today, it was 27th October 2017. How time passes. Wait, 27th? It was supposed to be Sunday, 28th of October. I wasn't crazy. This wasn't happening. Facebook was wrong. I opened the calendar on my laptop. 27th October, Saturday. I choked on my coffee. How was this possible? Was everyone playing an incredibly elaborate prank on me? But how would they program Facebook to go back just for me? Or was some time going back just for me? I looked at the grandfather clock. It was 5:45. Was this AM or PM? I had to ask someone and find out. I got dressed as quickly as possible and rushed to the local shop. As I switched on the radio in my car, it proudly announced, "And today, 27th October 2018, Saturday, marks the 10th anniversary of our show." I switched it off at once, my hands shaking with fury. I'm not here. This isn't happening. Everything, clocks, the radio, internet, traffic signs, shop windows, everything screamed Saturday, October 27th in my face. As I finally walked in, everything seemed normal as usual, despite my inner battle for my sanity. I grabbed the first person I saw and asked for the time. "It's 8 a.m., she smiled as she looked at her phone. I looked at my watch. 4 a.m. or p.m. "Can you look at my watch, please? I think it might be broken," I said and extended my wrist as so she could see. It says just after 8 a.m., she said and looked at me with a concerned expression. "How?" I mumbled as I stared at my watch. The hands clearly pointed just before 4. "Are you sure you're okay?" she asked. I woke up from my brief trance. "Yeah, fine, thanks," I replied and stumbled backwards, bumping into a couple of people carrying bags. "I'm fine, okay?" I cried over my shoulder, more to myself than to anyone else, and left the shop as quickly as possible. My heart beating fast, I slammed the door of my car and drove back home. This can't be happening. I was repeating to myself, I must be mad. Fuck, what if I'm going insane? Should I see a doctor? When I got home, the first thing I did was sit on my laptop to do some research. What had happened on 10th November 2017? I opened the calendar. Okay, it was a Friday. This seems I was probably out. But there had been so many Fridays in 2017. So much going out and getting drunk, I couldn't remember it all. I opened Facebook once again to see if there was any trace of that day. There was. A status update. Nearly died today. A car almost hit me as the driver lost control of the wheel. I escaped, but a woman nearby got hit. Hope she's okay. Then there was a long line of comments expressing their relief I was okay and that I was so lucky. I remembered this day. I was going back home from a night out and was a little tipsy. It was a truly scary experience as I had missed the car by centimeters and thought I was going to die. My brain was getting more and more irrational by the minute. What if I was supposed to die? What if this was a countdown? The dark figure couldn't be, could it? A thought passed into my mind, a very terrifying thought. I typed 10th November 2017 in the search bar on my usual news website. I found what I was dreading instantly. A short article, "Woman Killed in Fatal Car Crash." My heart was beating fast. I recognized the woman. I saw her get hit. I recognized the scene. I could even see a blurry image of myself, wrapped in the blanket the police had given me at the edge of the picture. I had no idea the woman had died. I remember protesting to be let go, so I wanted to go home. I remember not really caring much. She had died, and I had lived. It had been my only near-death experience. It was pure luck, but now I had been reminded of this date. I had been warned. I didn't do anything else that day but stare at the wall, afraid. Any way I looked at, I sensed that something on 10th November 2017 had gone very wrong. The dreaded question now was, what was going to happen once the clocks, my clocks, rolled back to the 10th of November 2017? I decided to pack my bags and leave. I doubted whatever was coming for me was not going to find me anywhere, but it was better than staying where I had seen that dark figure. A quick Google search found a remote cottage in the woods up north. Seemed like a good 5 or 6 hour drive. I didn't have energy for more. This had to do. I emailed the owners and paid the deposit. As I threw my bags into my car, I started driving. I drove for a long time. I finally reached a forest, a dark, silent forest covered in untouched snow. A small cottage on the edge of the trees, cold and empty. I was going to stay there until the end. I'm now all alone in the cottage. I've been here for a lot of months. I don't know what I look like. The clock just struck midnight. It's 10th November 2017. Help. I don't know what to do. And I know he's coming for me.